Happy 4th of July, one of my favorite holidays. So that's my birthday and Father's Day, and every other birthday in my family, and Christmas, and any other holiday that they'll pay me to take off. Back in here for a little bit, okay? Just so you guys know, that's not the crank for the engine. I don't know if anybody's ever, because I've talked about that, that was that spare crank. So, just going to strip down this old 2-barrel intake of everything I need and ditch it, just to make a little room in here. So we're going to lay a bunch of stuff back on the engine, basically to consolidate parts at this point. Like I said, we will be back on this. This is not a done project. You know, we definitely did not forget about it. We are gathering parts slowly. You gotta understand, I got 3 projects going at the same time. You know, that can that can liquidate your money pretty quick, and I don't charge nothing, so you gotta spread it out. I got this, I got the Outlander, and I got my wagon still working on. So and I think this would be much more enjoyable later in the year when things tone down and we could just sit and work on this engine and overhaul the tranny and everything together. But next Saturday is all AMC day. We're trying to get down there, see if we can find 1 or 2 more parts. There's really nothing else that we need that I could buy used other than the motor mounts. But listen, I know I'm not going to walk into AMC day and the mounts be sitting there 3 hours after the place starts for like $100. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to make those. We talked about that, and everything else is internal and has to be new. So with that, I'm going to stop gabbing. I'm going to strip this baby down and move on. Someone donated a set of car ramps. I can't tell you how many of those sets I've thrown out over the years. And then someone said to my wife at work, "Oh, I know your son's building a car. Does he need a set of car ramps?" My wife called me. I said, "Sure." I figure, you know, car ramps and jack stands. Can't get much safer than that. So let's call it good, guys. And let's work a little. There you go, guys. This is all I'm going to take off it. I don't need the EGR valve. I took off, there's a water inlet, vacuum, the bracket for the carburetor, you know, the throttle and kickdown linkage. That's where the air gets drawn through for your exhaust crossover to open your choke. I took that. So even if I never use that, at least I have the plate. And you can weld the 2 things closed and you have a plate. Some more vacuum ports off, temperature sensor, thermostat housing. Okay, even though this is an 86, a lot of this stuff will interchange onto the 70 manifold. So I put some of the stuff on here. This already had the plate with slip and twos, but I grabbed the bolts. Here are the 2 brackets for the throttle. Here's a nipple, another nipple, temperature sensor, thermostat housing is now sitting over there. This has actually less ports than the other one. The one for the water inlet is different for this year. It screws in, but basically this is what would have screwed in, and it had a big thermal valve hooked to the side of it. So I'll just hold on to this. That's actually a drain plug, so I wouldn't lose it. Like I said, I wound up with a bunch of nipples and stuff like that, some brackets here. This right here on the other one actually screwed in here. That's a dummy on this one. Okay, and that ran to the power brakes. So it's a little different setup over here on this year because they had to make room for the EGR and wedge it all in there on a pre-existing casting. So as you can see, this is non-EGR. This is a 7390 manifold. So figure you're gonna save the parts. Put some on here, put some in my thing. Okay, let's move on. Okay, guys, getting a little further on this mock-up and organizing my parts. Here the 291Cs are on. I took all the valves back out, obviously. Headers are on. Both sides. Didn't have header bolts, so I used what I had. Didn't matter. It's not the point of it. Starter fits right in and out. With the headers on. It's the only bolt I had. Had to cheat there. So, massive amount of room around that starter, just like my other set of headers. Had to straighten this plate out. Do a set of studs in there. Probably gonna put grade 8 bolts in there when we start the lift with that thing. But I won't be using that intake manifold, as you guys know. Got the pan on. The pan we're actually using in the car, so we're gonna have to swap that out when we mark it. We got massive amount of room here for the engine mounts. Here's the 3 bolts, and they come down into this area here. So I'm gonna have plenty of room to fabricate these things, get in there and work on them and do all sorts of things. And we'll see how the head is going in and out. When the car's assembled, then you got the rear strut rod. That's always the problem. On this side, same situation. No clearance issues. Mount is wide open for us to fabricate those mounts. The only difference in the pans is this one had a little notch on one side for the differential. So there's a full drive pan, but this pan is undented. Everything else is the same, so we're going to use it. Headers seem to point straight back, which is always a bonus. Equal, and they seem to be equal length, which really doesn't affect me either way. So as long as these things don't hit the bell housing or the tranny, I know the 904 is not an issue. It's when we swap over to the 727. There's one of these I thought, well, yeah, you see, I think that kicks out over there just a little to clear the pan on the 727, something like that. So with that, let's toss a distributor in here. That's it, guys. We got the MSD distributor here that we got from Cutworm. Okay. And we give a basic cleaning to. We're going to eliminate the vacuum advance. It's coming off. I never cleaned the wires or anything like that yet. I did wipe off the box. The box is all clean. I did get the extension wires so we can mount this inside the car. So these are nice wires. These are nice tailors. I think they say 9mm, 8mm, something like that. They were on one of his racing Jeeps. So with that, at least we got everything consolidated, and this is the way it's going to sit for a little bit. So I don't know what I did with the valve covers. Remember those painted blue ones that I had? That all painted mint? I was just going to lay them on there to seal up the top of the engine. I don't know what they are. I'm not going to tell you how long I just looked for them. There they are. Oh, these weren't. These are them, but these aren't anything anyway. I forgot. Also, want the extra holes drilled in them. So, with that said, guys, I'm going to package this thing back up in a bag, sweep back there again, and just roll it off to the side.